In diameter, and initially it encountered resistance about an inch down. So there's another inch to go. So if I take the cup and push down the extra inch, it's stable.
Okay, so watch out for jury number 10 and 11.
So again, you can keep it balanced partially and move this.
Just keep it that way.
Okay.
Or actually, no, put that one in. Let's put the extract the third one.
All right, so that one pushed all the way down the extra inch. And then this one, pushed down a quarter inch or a half an inch. There it sits.
And now,
I mean, I can move it.
okay, can you hand it to me? Okay, and then, oh boy,
Didn't do that, Mark.
it wasn't intentional.
Is it spilled? Is it coffee? Is it running my carpet?
It's just water.
It's just water.
Okay, thank you.
So you can hand it to me, and that's how easy it falls.
Yeah.
And these ones, sorry there, they're pretty secure. Huh. I don't want to get you mad, although if you are, you're justified, very justified. It's, anger is often a surface emotion. It usually is. There's something underneath it. And what's underneath anger, if there is anger, is sadness. Because the way that this corporation has treated this young man and handled this entire case, up until even right now, towing the corporate line, is sad. It is very sad. It's sad that a human being can be devalued this way. It's sad that, yes, these are frivolous defenses. Frivolous means without merit. It is sad. And it will continue to be sad until there's a just, righteous verdict. This thing about, let me see, is this up? No punitives, I agree. We'd be talking about billions of dollars. That's not what we're doing here. Not asking you to punish Starbucks. But this is the time for 100% civil justice. 100%. And it's clearly something that this corporation does not understand or doesn't want to understand. But it's time for full justice. So, what's going on there? This comment about the numbers, that is what this case is worth. That is what he is worth and what happened to him. That's 100% full justice. This is not putting, listen, if there are lawyers out there that might do what he's talking about, I don't. This is what the case is worth. The evidence and the law justify it. And 1,000%, if your verdict comes back and it's $125 million, you say that's what it was worth. That's what it was worth. Absolutely. It ruined a young man's life. It'll affect his family. It'll affect his future. Everything. Everything. He's got PTSD. It's forever. This is a forever injury. That's what it's worth. And when we have to look at 50 years and we have to forecast into the future what it is to provide justice for every single year for 9 separate items of harm that the law says must be included in the award, in the verdict, that's justice. It's not, you come back and say, well, it's half that. I'll say that's disappointing. That's disappointing. I'll honor and respect whatever it is that you decide, but that will be disappointing. That will not be a full just verdict. These frivolous defenses, they are. He still got up here and said, it's diabetes. That's just ridiculous. So sorry that you've had diabetes since you were a kid. But the type of diabetes that he has, if he has a diabetic event, he goes in with his blood sugars. He doesn't, does he look like a person? Do the medical records show that he's got peripheral neuropathy and all these different problems? No. His diabetes, it's gone out of control. But why? What goes with that? Depression and not eating right, which you heard from Roberta Falk. There you go. That's That explains it. It's not a problem that he had before. They did it to him. They caused him to have PTSD and depression, and he has issues with eating, issues to where he can't even, he gets nauseous, and he's out of this courtroom. This is so tough. And then they want to blame him? Who was the expert that linked it up? Nobody worth a salt. It's just nonsense. It's just nonsense. But it's what the corporation continues to do. Yes, he's got to do his job. In terms of friends, I actually consider you all my friends. It's how I am. I don't like what my opponent here, Steve Pelletier, has to do in this trial. He's doing his job, but I consider him a friend. I like him quite a bit. He got dealt a bad set of cards by this corporation when it came to this trial, but he's got to keep doing his job. Can't blame him for that. We all got to do our job. But consider him a friend. Haven't known him that long. And that's how I am. I'm from Iowa. We're friendly. It's called Iowa nice. Actually ran into one of the people that could have been on this jury the other day. I'm like, oh, so great to see you. It's just... Dr. Gazzaniga, and here's the spin. You heard, you listened. Dr. Gazzaniga, he kept trying to say, well, that's what's in the records. And I said, okay, answer my question. But it is true, correct? He'd say, yeah, that's true. It wasn't, well, it's true, that's what's in the records. He admitted, he had to acknowledge that everything in this case is true. That Michael's problems, they're real. That he had perfect functioning before, and then it's abrupt and it changed after this burn. That's true, right? He goes, yeah, that's true. There wasn't any, I mean, he tried to not answer the question, but his answers were stricken. He was forced to answer them. I wasn't asking him, this is what the record says. I'm saying these things are true. And he chose. Those are the things that he wrote down. Yeah, I guess I had to make him eat his words, but he wrote down what he felt the pertinent medical facts were in Exhibit 5 of his deposition. He could have, I mean, there are all these medical records. These are what he chose to write down, but it wasn't what was in there that was true. It's what happened to this young man, and he had to acknowledge it. He said that this is what he deals with injuries like this every day. That's what Mr. Pelletier just said, right? He said, well, Dr. Gazzaniga, he deals with these injuries every day. No, he doesn't. He does not. That's completely untrue. He just made that up. It's not what Dr. Gazzaniga said. I deal with, injuries like this every day. He doesn't. He says I deal with, erectile dysfunction. But Dr. Goldstein got on in rebuttal and pointed out he really doesn't, he said some things that are medically incorrect. And he doesn't hold a feather to Dr. Goldstein. He just doesn't. And also, hold on, he never saw the patient because there wasn't a notice. It wasn't done right. So, but yet he sure came in, having worked for Starbucks before, to give opinions on somebody based upon medical records? Would that diagnosis fly in the real world in front of a medical board? No way. You haven't even seen the patient. Here you are telling us what's wrong with him? It's ridiculous. So he said it's true. All these things are true. And he also looked you straight in the eye from the stand, and he said, there were not burns to the shaft of the penis. Defense counsel just said, well, nobody's suggesting there weren't burns to the shaft of the penis. That's what their expert said. Dr. Gazzaniga, did you hear him say that? He said, no, the burns are just to the glands. That's what he said. And now this record's there, which is in evidence, which is your evidence. And now he's backtracking and saying, oh, we never suggested there wasn't a burn to the shaft. The whole shaft was grafted. There were deep burns on the shaft. And their expert got up here and said there were not. So that's why you can reject that expert testimony as being nonsense and not credible. Because he said that out of his mouth under oath. Dr. Gazzaniga said there were only burns to the glands and not the shaft. That's what he said. We all heard it. And he kind of looked like he didn't even want to be here. Probably because he knows that this is a legitimate case, and here he is. Uh-oh. What? There's a medical record that actually says open burns with skin sloughing, means the skin's falling off, an eschar to bilateral thighs, and the penis with eschar, skin sloughing, and tissue ischemia, and spots on the scrotum. Where's the scrotum? Where's the crus? They're right there together. So here we go. There's a medical record that you have. I guess their experts didn't look at that because it's right there from Grossman Burn Center. He's got, because it burned his scrotum too. And what is ischemia? Think of as an ischemic stroke. That's when there's dead tissue, ischemia. And that's what the burn did to his scrotum, his balls. Yes, it all hurt. And yes, it was all burned. Tissue ischemia and spots on the scrotum, right where the crus is. There we go. They didn't mention that. That's because that hot water went right down, lands, and it goes right down, and it pooled just like Dr. Goldstein said, just like the medical literature says. It matches up. And Dr. Goldstein, who knows more about this than anybody, explained how the ultrasounds show conclusively this is not diabetes. This is not a pattern for diabetes. Did Dr. Gzaniga get up and show you ultrasounds and say, hey, this is a pattern for diabetes? He did not. Because you'd also see it in his fingers and his toes and everywhere else. You don't have a young person and all of a sudden the diabetes starts to show up in the penis and, oh, coincidence, it just happens to be after he had a deep burn to the shaft, burns to his scrotum, and permanent, damage. I mean, coincidence? It's just ridiculous. But they haven't stopped, have they? They're still going. They're still going. So Dr. Addario versus Dr. Falk. Dr. Addario never saw the patient, and he was towing the line. It was obvious. Dr. Falk said, in the intake, it's there, you have the record. He said, this is how bad this is for me. But what more is he going to do? Maybe, with your life experience, you've gone to therapists. Go to therapists to talk about, is he just going to dwell on something that he can't do anything about? He told her, he goes, I'm worried that this is going to affect me having a family. I don't know when, if this is going to affect me for the rest of my life. He told her. And therapists don't just keep poking. Well, nope, today we want you to talk about your penis today. It's the same. What else is there to talk about? What else is there to talk about? Lost one relationship, lost another relationship. You heard about the experience. Because they're like, oh, you've dated, haven't you? You've dated. And their experts have said, oh, he's dated. Okay, let's put that into context. And they told you about the one other girl who he might have been intimate with, and she looked at it and freaked out. And he knows it's shorter, and he knows it's not as thick, and he knows it doesn't work, and he knows that it hurts. What's there to talk about? If there was something that would have made a difference, then they have the burden of showing, well, look, if he would have got more therapy, it would have made a difference. No, there's no evidence of that. They have that burden, and they haven't met it. It's just, it is what it is. And he could talk to a therapist 100 times about it, and it's not going to change anything. It's not going to fix him. And talk about, they're basically calling him a liar. That's basically what they're doing. Not even in a roundabout way, in a direct way. They're saying, oh, well, he didn't go to the doctor. What's a doctor going to do? What else can you do for these burns? They did everything they could do. Now you just got to live with it. If this was a situation where there was medical care to be had that would fix him, well, you heard maybe a penile implant. Oh, injections into his penis. He's got his options. He went and saw Dr. Goldstein. He says, here are the things you can do. They don't sound very fun, but what happens? We'll get you an erection. It's going to hurt. Pleasure is now pain. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt when you ejaculate. It's going to hurt as you have intercourse. The more you get into it, the more your partner gets into it, Most men don't know this, probably, but you should. It takes 45 minutes for a woman to actually get, you have to take your time. It does. Men get turned on right away. Women, so you got to take your time, be compassionate. That's why they call it lovemaking. The more time he takes, the more it hurts. Isn't that awful? Isn't that awful? It's unimaginable. Just unimaginable for a young man of this age. And it was stolen from him. He said, "What's $1 million to a common person?" Isn't that a convenient thing for the corporation to say? Not enough. What's 10 million? Not enough. Not enough for that. No. Not at all. Because common people care most about the things that are priceless. And what he had was priceless. His sexuality, his body, his brain without PTSD, priceless. Priceless. So those dollar amounts that I've talked to you about, those are reasonable. Because what happened to him and the way he's been valued is very unreasonable. So reasonable has to match that which is unreasonable. Fair has to match that which is unfair. And justice, what is reasonable and not excessive, is that which is an equal trade for every year, for every item of harm that's been negligently inflicted upon his life and his brain and his body, his relationships, his family, his everything. And you can't blame the victim. They tried to do it before and they're doing it again. You didn't do anything wrong. The autograft was impossible. You'd have to get skin from an eyelid. Doing an autograft, the xenograft, he talked about, oh, this wasn't an autograft case. The skin is so thin. How are you going to graft the head of a penis? Where are you going to get that tissue from? All you can do with an injury like this is graft it the way they did and hope that the body heals up. That's it. It doesn't mean that the injury's less. It means it's worse that you can't autograft it. Because of if it's skin here, okay, we can get skin to replace that. But where are you going to get skin for the penis? So thin. Skin for the head of the penis. Where's that going to come from? So they did the best that they could. Starbucks has the burden, the corporation has the burden to show that some medical treatment or therapy or whatever would have made his life better. But to suggest or say that, oh, because he hasn't got a whole bunch of medical care, that he's less injured or this is less of, a big deal to him, or it's just ridiculous. It's nonsense. If he had been going to the doctor or the therapist over and over again, you know what they'd be saying? Oh, that's excessive. That's ridiculous. He shouldn't be. He's darned if he does, darned if he doesn't, but there's nothing that can be done here. Except the needle to the penis, which their expert, Dr. Gazzaniga, he can get an erection. With a chemical in his penis, he can get a full 4 out of 4 erection. With a chemical and a needle being stuck in there. He said he wasn't calling and asking for help. Well, cries for help hasn't worked. But let there be no mistake, Michael is asking for help now. And I'm asking for your help. And help is the right thing to do. Help is the right thing to do. And only you can help. To hear the corporation's lawyer get up here and say, Dr. Goldstein is flat wrong, if there's an expert witness who deserves respect in this courtroom, who's done more for the advancement of sexual medicine and helping men and women, whose research led to Viagra. It's Dr. Goldstein. To get up here and say he's wrong, that's just nonsense. There's nothing Dr. Goldstein said that was wrong. Nothing. They're wrong. They don't understand. But you know, it's hard to get someone to understand when their salary depends otherwise. That's a saying. So, nope, they're not going to understand it. But Dr. Gazzaniga had to admit it all. He didn't like admitting it, but he had to. Reasonable is 100%. 100%. That's reasonable. Anything less than 100%, and no, they don't like those numbers. But they are real, and that is justice. And a $50 million verdict would be an injustice. That would be a win for them, and they know it. And they know it. That's why he made that argument. Oh, if you cut it in half. No, they know that's a win for them. They know it. But in this system of justice, civil justice, right? All people are equal. This is the one place where an individual can stand against a corporation. This is the place where there's equality. And the corporation is a person under the law, right? And they get equal treatment too. So, just imagine, what would they be arguing if it was one of their CEOs? Would those numbers be so unreasonable? No. Each of these items would justify. And here, imagine, someone came up, knocked on Michael's door that morning. He answers the door. How's it going? Michael, we have $10 million for you. He'd say, I didn't do anything. $10 million, really? Wow. So I could help my family out. I could do some things. He's someone who just loves to help others, right? Imagine the good he could do. He goes, yeah, but I didn't earn that. You must have the wrong person. No. This $10 million is for you, Michael. It's for you. Something you get to have. But we're going to take something from you. And we're going to replace it with grief. And you, for the rest of your life, 50 years, you are going to suffer from grief. You're going to grieve losing a part of you and the ability to do something it's very important. But you're going to get $10 million, but for 50 years, you will grieve. No, he'd say no. Nope. I don't want that. But no. Well, we're going to give you another $10 million for anxiety. We're going to give you anxiety for 50 years. Lifelong, permanent anxiety. But you get $10 million. Say, I don't want that. I don't want anxiety. I never had that before. I don't live with that. I don't want anxiety. Anxiety is, No, you're going to live with this for the rest of your life. It's called PTSD. You're going to have that. But you get $10 million. You'd say, no way. Get out of here. Slam the door in their face. So no. You're going to get another $10 million. That's for a separate item. Another 50 years. Lifetime of physical pain. When you touch your penis, stroke your penis, use your penis, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. Pleasure will become pain. But you get $10 million for that. No, I don't want that. Disfigurement. We're going to change the length and girth of your penis. $10 million. No, we'll give you 50. No, he would say. No way. Not that. Take my foot. Right? Take an ear. Take my nose, for God's sakes. But not that. Don't hurt that. No. The inconvenience of it all, the mental suffering. We're going to give you $10 million for each of these things. The loss of enjoyment of life. 50 years each. Well, that's $90 million. That's a number between $75 million and $125 million. That's justified. That's one way to look at it. You might find others. That verdict in that range is justified. 125 would be justified. And again, if it was someone else, I doubt they'd be arguing otherwise. It wouldn't be so unreasonable or shocking or excessive. It's so interesting that it's so shocking and excessive to Starbucks. Equal trade dollar value for each of the 9 separate items for 50 years. That's why this is justice, not reduced to present value, forecasting in the future, and looking back if we go into the future to 2070, it's not unreasonable. It's full justice. Well, what we got here? Look forward to talking to you, whether it's at 4:30 p.m. today. If you have your verdict by then, it takes 9 of you. If 9 of you can agree, this could take a half hour. This could take 15 minutes. This could take an hour. This could take longer. If 9 out of 12 of you agree, then look forward to shaking all your hands. I'll be giving you a hug. Thank you.